At 75, Richard Gere finally felt ready to speak with unguarded honesty about his life, his career, and the private truths he had carried for decades. Known for his quiet charisma, spiritual advocacy, and iconic film roles, Gere has long maintained a public image of calm grace and dignity. But behind that composed exterior were unresolved stories and simmering frustrations from a long Hollywood career. In a candid memoir and documentary interview, he shocked fans by naming the 7 actors he most disliked working with. These revelations weren't meant to inflame or embarrass, he explained, but to set the record straight about the emotional realities of collaboration. After a lifetime of keeping peace for the sake of professionalism, Gere said he finally felt the freedom to speak his truth at an age where legacy matters more than image. From gymnast to star, the beginning of a journey. Richard Gere was born, Richard Tiffany Gere, on August 31, 1949, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and raised in a Methodist household in Syracuse, New York. Early on, he was more interested in sports and music than acting. A talented gymnast and multi-instrumentalist, he earned a scholarship to the University of Massachusetts Amherst, where he studied philosophy. But the stage called to him more strongly than any classroom. He left college before graduating to pursue theater, and his early career began in the 1970s with regional productions that built his reputation as a serious actor. Gere later moved to Broadway and off-Broadway, including a noted performance in Bent, a controversial play about the persecution of homosexuals in Nazi Germany. These early years shaped his intensity and discipline and laid the foundation for the powerful screen presence that would later define him. Breakthroughs and bold roles. A new kind of leading man, Gere's early film roles revealed a quiet intensity that immediately set him apart. In Looking for Mr. Goodbar, 1977, and Days of Heaven, 1978, he demonstrated emotional depth and raw presence. His true breakthrough came in 1980 with American Gigolo, where he played a high-end escort with sensuality and vulnerability. The role turned him into a sex symbol and showed he could carry a film with complexity. His next major success came with An Officer and a Gentleman, 1982, in which he played a troubled naval aviation candidate opposite Deborah Winger. The film became a box office sensation and earned him critical acclaim and a Golden Globe nomination. In the 1990s, Gere became a romantic icon with Pretty Woman, 1990, a cultural phenomenon that paired him with Julia Roberts. These roles solidified his status as one of Hollywood's most beloved leading men. A life of reinvention, from thrillers to musicals. Gere's career was defined not only by romantic leading roles, but also by a willingness to reinvent himself. He took on intense thrillers like Primal Fear, 1996, where he played a lawyer defending a troubled young man. He embraced action in The Jackal, 1997, and delivered mature emotional performances in Unfaithful, 2002. His role as Billy Flynn in Chicago, 2002, showcased his theatrical roots and earned him a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. Gere's ability to move between genres proved his versatility and endurance. He also continued to support his spiritual values through roles that aligned with his beliefs. Even when his career shifted away from the spotlight, he remained a respected figure in Hollywood for his craft and commitment to meaningful storytelling. Spiritual advocacy. A life beyond Hollywood. Beyond acting, Gere is widely respected for his humanitarian work and spiritual advocacy. A practicing Buddhist since the 1970s, he has been a vocal supporter of human rights, particularly regarding Tibet and the Dalai Lama, with whom he maintains a close relationship. He established the Gere Foundation, supporting causes in public health, social justice, and cultural preservation. He has spoken at the United Nations and used his fame to highlight issues such as homelessness, and AIDS. Gere has often been criticized for his activism, especially regarding China's policies in Tibet, but he has remained steadfast in his beliefs. He once said that fame should be used to elevate compassion, not to avoid responsibility. For Gere, activism is not a public stunt, but a lifelong commitment, and it has become inseparable from his identity as an artist and human being. The relationship, saga, love, loss, and new beginnings. Gere's personal life has long fascinated the public, partly because it mirrored the romance and mystery of his on-screen persona. His early relationship with actress Penelope Milford lasted from 1971 to 1978 and shaped his formative years as an actor. Later, he had a long-term relationship with Brazilian painter Silvia Martins from 1978 to 1986. Though they never married, their bond was emotionally significant and continued as a friendship even after the romance ended. In 1991, Gere married supermodel Cindy Crawford, forming one of the decade's most glamorous couples. Their marriage ended in divorce in 1995, a split Crawford later attributed to differing life goals and the age gap. Gere's next marriage to actress Carrie Lowell in 2002 produced a son, Homer James Jigme Gere, but ended in a high-profile divorce after more than a decade. In 2018, Gere married Spanish activist Alejandra Silva, with whom he shares 2 sons, and he entered a period of domestic peace and stability. The 7 Actors, a list of private resentments. In his new memoir, Gere revealed the 7 actors he disliked most working with. He explained that these weren't mere gossip or petty grievances, but deeply felt professional clashes that shaped his understanding of collaboration and ego. The first name on his list was Sylvester Stallone, with whom he clashed on the set of The Lords of Flatbush, 1974. Gere said Stallone's aggressive attitude and ego made him feel uncomfortable, and the pair's conflict even turned physical over a trivial incident. The second was Edward Norton, whom Gere praised as brilliant but described as manipulative during Primal Fear, 1996. Gere claimed Norton constantly tried to upstage him, making the set tense. Gere's third admission stunned fans. Julia Roberts, his beloved co-star in Pretty Woman and Runaway Bride. Gere said their working styles diverged, and her behavior on the second film made collaboration difficult. The rest of the list: tension, hostility, and competition. Gere's fourth name was Deborah Winger, his co-star in An Officer and a Gentleman. He acknowledged their on-screen chemistry, but said their off-screen relationship was strained, calling her erratic and unpleasant. Gere claimed they barely spoke during filming, making their final scenes emotionally cold. The fifth name was Bill Murray, with whom Gere said he once attempted to work on a comedy that fell apart due to Murray's dismissive behavior. Gere described Murray's humor as cruel behind the scenes and said the experience discouraged him from comedic projects for years. The sixth was Louis Gossett Jr., with whom Gere had a rivalry during An Officer and a Gentleman. Gere claimed Gossett Jr. resented his perceived status, and they argued repeatedly. Finally, Gere named Bruce Willis, calling their Jackal collaboration toxic. He alleged Willis refused to rehearse, tried to reduce Gere's screen time, and treated the project as a vanity exercise. Why he spoke now: legacy, peace, and truth. At 75, Gere said he was not speaking to shame anyone, but to finally close a chapter he had carried for decades. He explained that in Hollywood, people often hide resentment for the sake of public image and professional survival. But he also said that holding these experiences inside had affected him emotionally and creatively. By naming these actors, he wasn't seeking revenge, he was seeking peace. He said the list represented lessons about ego, boundaries, and the importance of healthy collaboration. Gere added that some conflicts were not about talent, but about incompatible work styles and emotional intelligence. He believed that the people who bring out our worst often teach us the most, and that honesty about these experiences is part of growing older. In the end, he said, his truth was not about bitterness, but about clarity. Outro: the man behind the icon. Richard Gere's revelations may have shocked fans, but they also revealed something deeper about the man behind the iconic smile. His career has always been defined by intensity, compassion, and a refusal to compromise his values. Whether on-screen or off, he has lived with a commitment to authenticity. In naming the 7 actors he disliked, Gere reminded the world that even legends carry personal scars and that fame does not erase human conflict. His memoir is not a list of grudges, but a final act of honesty from a man who has spent his life searching for meaning through art, love, and spiritual devotion. At 75, Gere appears at peace, not because the past is perfect, but because he has finally